Hi, I'm Oscar from Flare Interactive. I'm actually not going to try and sell you anything in this video. I'm going to try and give you things. This is video number 2 of what's probably going to be quite a long series on how we add thousands of dollars extra to every single gym we help on a monthly basis. This is what most would probably define as the boring work, and so it's not something that's incredibly exhilarating to do, but it does print money like nothing I've ever seen, really. It doesn't come from increasing your spend. It doesn't come from hiring some big agency on a big retainer monthly and giving them thousands of dollars. It comes down to very simple, boring work. And video number 1 in this series was all about the ads, right? So making sure your ads look fantastic and they can actually generate leads and what we would call be that tap. So a tap of when you turn it on and when you want leads, it will pour them out like there's no tomorrow. And when you don't need them, you can just turn it off and that's it. Now, we have those leads now, if you followed that video and you've used that process. The second part, so this video, is going to address what I would think is probably the biggest failing in your gym at the moment. And that goes from, okay, we can generate leads, great, but we can't sell them. We get so many leads in, but maybe our conversion rate on those leads is 10%, maybe less, 5%. We can't book as many people as possible. Everybody seems to be unqualified, right? How do we get around this? Well, that's basically boiled down in simple terms into what's called the nurturing process. And I've created on my computer screen here, quite frankly, a frightening amount of documents and resources for you to use free of charge. I'm not here to sell you anything about how to make that nurture process work for you. So I'm going to get straight into it. This is no fluff. Please follow on. Please steal exactly what I'm about to show you. Have a notepad and pen, because the more people that use this system, the merrier, quite frankly, because if we can help as many gyms as possible, who's going to lose? And so I'm going to get straight into my computer here, run this process by you, please put it into action and start printing money. Just a very quick note before we get started here, kind of a PS, but right at the beginning of the video. This might end up being a 20, 25, 30-minute video, okay? If you can't sit through it, and if your attention span won't allow you to sit through it, there really is not much hope for you ever making a system which will generate consistent, predictable lead inflow and client member inflow for your gym. So please, hold tight, put this video on full screen, actually listen, take notes, put the system into practice for you and your gym, for your gym's sake. I don't want any money from you, because if you can't sit and listen for 25, 30 minutes, there's no possible way you'll ever be a successful gym owner. That's just the cold hard truth of it. If you don't like it, then I'm just a bearer of the truth, and don't hate me, hate the truth, don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, I'm gonna stop stalling and I'm gonna get straight into this video here. All right, I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna get straight into this. I think I'll start pretty much each of these videos with a rundown of the entire SOP. The first video was all about the creative, and so that's when the lead opts in from the advert. They see the advert, they opt in, right, using the call to action, the CTA. The next thing is all about getting the nurturing process right, and that's what this video is about. But it comes down to 6 stages, right? So we have the advert, we have the opt-in form registering interest, we have lead nurture, we have the booking, and then we have the show, right? After that, there's the sale. We covered both of these in the first video. Now it's lead nurture. The lead opts in. As soon as they opt in, there's a speed to lead call. We call these STL calls, and it basically is if you the quicker you can get to someone, the better. Because if we're running Facebook ads, right, as opposed to Google ads or TikTok ads, actually with TikTok it's pretty much the same, but let's say Google ads. So the primary difference between a Google ad and a Facebook ad is that one has intent behind it. Someone on Google, the reason SEO is so important is because on Google, someone has searched for you and you will come up first. They have searched gym in my area or gym in the Sacramento area or wherever you are. On Facebook, it's different. What we do is we draw a radius around your business. Only the accounts on Facebook and Instagram will, within that radius, will receive your advert. And there is a smaller amount of intent. Obviously, they've shown they have intent through them opting in, but they haven't actively searched, right? It's a spontaneous action on Facebook and Instagram. They were scrolling, oh, this looks interesting. I'm actually going to opt in. That's what's happening here. So in that scenario, it really matters. It matters even more than with Google to call somebody instantly. Because it's a spontaneous action and it was inspired by emotion, right? That emotion needs to be carried onwards and carried onwards quickly with momentum. So we have to call them as quickly as possible. And also an STL call, calling within 5 minutes of them registering their interest, actually increases your chance of closing that person right at the end of the funnel by over 500%. So it's an insanely, it's actually worth your money. It would be profitable for you to put 30 grand a year to someone whose only job is calling people instantly as soon as they come in. It would actually profit you because you get 5x more members. You may even as most of the gym owners I speak to, not even be calling your leads ever. It's just, oh, they didn't respond to the text, they're a cold lead, done. Whereas most of the time, 85%, 80% of the bookings that are going to occur will be taken, will be booked through a phone call. I want you to be aware of that because it all comes down to phoning. That's why we have a team of pipeline managers, or you could just allocate an employee for it. But this kind of this area I'm hovering over is this video. So if they answer, brilliant. We can go straight into the discovery call, right? If they don't, then we have a dialing sequence that we follow that I'll go through in a minute. And if there's no answer after the dialing sequence, they go into the long-term nurture. Once we take that discovery call, once we host it and go through it, if they're qualified, obviously we book them. If we're not qualified, they are qualified. Obviously, they're just disqualified, and we don't call them anymore. They're not fit for the service. Why would we follow up? Then we have a show up and reminder sequence. If they don't show up, there's a rebooking sequence, and we'll call them instantly, whether they cancel or don't show up, to try and rebook them. Because it's, in both of those situations, they haven't turned up. It doesn't need to be more complex than that. We'll take the appointment. Did they get sold? If no, no sale, long-term nurture if applicable. If yes, brilliant. There's nothing more to do. On the acquisition side, it comes down to actually delivering your service, having a good gym, having a PT, delivering sessions for them, or whatever that might be at that end. But to get back on track, here is this video. So, okay, we have speed to lead call, right? That is, in essence, so these are our appointment setting scripts from inside of our agency, right? There is a few ways to do this. I'm actually not going to run through the script. I might leave it in the description possibly, but here is pretty much what we have to do. So the notes template that we use is, and actually, to be fair, I'm using it right now. Like, this is exactly what I do. So this is all of these questions that I have on my screen right now listed out on a notepad. And when I'm dialing through leads, for example, I will go through. I only have these notes because I'm aware of what the script says, and I know not what to ask, because it's literally 12 questions. So first one, when you get on a call with a client, so first things first, they come in, you get the notification. 5 minutes later, you should be on the phone with them, and you go through this list of questioning. So it's advert insight. Please forgive me, it's slightly selfish, but do you know what exactly caught your interest about the advert that you saw? Next, okay, so what are you actually currently looking for? Is it so the example I would give if I'm trying to get a gym to sign up for my agency is, are you looking for aggressive short-term scale or more of a predictable, sustainable pipeline for the future? That might be a goal or objective. The rough goal they have might be, are you looking to lose weight or are you looking to gain muscle, for example? Current situation, what are you currently doing for fitness? Duration, how long have you been doing that? Evaluation, how's that been going for you? The tangible goal is, okay, you told me you wanted to lose weight. How much can we actually put some numbers to that, make it tangible? How much are you looking to lose and in what time frame? So let's just say over the next 3 months, 90 days, what would your ideal situation be at the end of those 90 days? Where would you like to be? And then you'll get, okay, so you want to lose, I don't know, 14 pounds in 90 days. You want to lose a stone in 90 days. And then you know whether it's actually achievable, whether you can help them. Then you go into a big thing, which is the pain, right? This is pretty much all buying decisions are because of some pain. You never buy something because everything's going great, unless it's, a really cool car or something. But you're probably just self-conscious. Anyway, the problem, right, they're facing. So, okay, you want to lose a stone in 90 days. Why haven't you already lost that stone? What's stopping you from getting to that goal, or at least getting to that goal as quickly as you might like to get there? Next is, okay, how long has that problem been around? Let's say it's, lack of motivation. How long have you lacked that motivation? And then have you tried anything to get over that lack of motivation, or has it been stubborn? You can't really seem to get rid of it no matter what you try. Key area of assistance. Okay, I know we've covered it pretty well, but what's the key area? Like, if we boiled it down to one thing, I could snap my fingers and that thing is dealt with, that's perfect. It's no longer an issue in your life. What would that be? Okay, brilliant. Then investment radius. Okay, let's say hypothetically, you did sign up with us today. How much are you looking to invest to completely transform your health? Lose that stone in 90 days. Okay, brilliant. At that point, we're not going to waste and do what most gym owners do, and most business people do for that matter, and get on a 2-hour consult or whatever it might be, just to get to the end and for them to say, oh, it's $200 a month, that's ridiculous, and then leave. We're going to ascertain whether they have the funds available on the first call, the discovery call. Otherwise, we don't want to waste time. We're business people. We're supposed to have pure efficiency here. We have that investment, and then we just keep a track of the time we've booked them in for. that is the appointment setting script. There is actually quite a lot of these. So we have a voicemail guidance. We overcome objections just in case there's a few things that they need help with. But if they do not respond, there's a bit more help that we can give you. And so, one second. If they don't respond, we don't give up. What most people will do is they will get leads in, because most people don't really struggle generating leads. It's the nurture process. They'll get leads in, they'll call them once. Oh, well, I was told to call them. They didn't answer. Must mean they're unqualified. No, people have lives. Their lives come up. Even if they, let's say we even get to them within 5 minutes of them opting in, they may, in that time, have turned their phone off and gotten back to work or gone to take the dog out or whatever it might be. And so we have to keep trying because people have lives and things come up in those lives, and we really can't help that. And so, day one, when the lead is captured, we give them a call. We call them 3 times on day one. Of course, these are all attempts, right? If they answer on the first call, brilliant. We're not going to keep calling them, just in case this looks kind of spammy. But realistically, we have to keep following up. We've just paid for that lead. You may have paid, I don't know, $10, $12, whatever it might be. You have to make use of that lead. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away. And then you think, why aren't my ads performing? Well, what are you doing with the leads you're generating? We always double dial. So what that means is we call twice, right? Right here, double dial meaning if there's no answer on the attempt one, then a couple seconds later, call them again, and that will break through the silence mode on their phone, the do not disturb mode, and it'll get through to them. Okay, you might have called and that person was available, but they're on do not disturb. Break through that. Okay, we leave a voicemail. Always leave a voicemail. There's some voicemail guidance. Let me see right here. So, hey John, it's Oscar with I don't know John's Fitness. Thanks for signing up for our offer. The response from blah 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 has been great. I'm just curious if you're available, etc., etc., etc. Right? Then we call 3 times in that day, and that's ideally the morning, midday, and kind of afternoon. Obviously, using common sense, they're not going to be available in work hours most of the time. Or the best you can do when you do catch somebody in the workday is they'll say, "Can you call me maybe at 6 p.m." or something like that, right? We call them twice on day two, twice on day three, using the same procedures, double dial, leave a voicemail, right? We don't obviously leave 2 voicemails in a day. We just try the attempt again. Day four, same thing, twice. Day five, once, and then it peters off from that point. And so it's day five, day eight, we leave a 3 day gap, 14, 6 day gap, day 30, we leave a 2 week gap, and then we call them once every 30 days. Now, here's a pretty useful tip down the bottom here. This may seem extreme, and that's because it is. But if you don't want to be exceptional and you don't want to put exceptional effort in, you are by definition normal and average, and you will get average results. The people who have fantastic results in this industry are those who put the most effort in. And that pretty much goes for every industry, right? Um, so it makes a huge amount of difference to have a nurturing sequence in place where somebody is followed up with and it's cooling. We're not some fancy AI agency which does, we haven't all installed an AI bot for you, etc. No, we call. This can be done, as I said here, by your employee, or if you did, let's say, sign up with an agency like Flare, one of our pipeline managers will be allocated to you and do this entire process basically for free as a full-time employee. That's one part of it. So we have the dialing sequence, and there's long-term nurture as well. After this, or actually at the same time as this, concurrently with the dialing process, we go into the automations. There is no AI, it's just standard SMS and email automations. You're never going to hear anything that's completely revolutionary, but we just, I think, do it pretty well. And that it doesn't go for the, day one, 3 SMS, day two, etc. It's pretty simple. And so somebody will come in through Facebook. They're added to a pipeline. You don't need to know about that. Basically, you're notified that somebody's come in. They will get a welcome email and they'll get an SMS, right, saying, "Hey, thanks for coming in," etc. Day one SMS two, day one SMS three, and then we have day two SMS and email, day three SMS and email, day four SMS and email, and then day five SMS and email. And then after that, we don't spam them. Unless you're going for some crazy premium feel and you would like a massive long-term nurture campaign, which can be built, that's fine. You can do what you like. This is pretty much the balance on if you keep hassling people over SMS, it's just when you scroll up in the conversation, it's going to be, wow, this guy has hassled me so much, I never want to sign up, right? Calling is slightly different because it's just you can explain yourself when they do pick up. SMS is just this looks spammy, and basically to clarify what happens at this point. So if they do answer, how do we get them to how like we ascertain whether they're qualified on the discovery call? The appointment when that gets made, how do we ensure they show up? Well, first off, we host a calendar, and one big thing is actually keeping your availability very wide and very closed at the same time. And what I mean by that is we only allow availability 3 days out from right now. So you can only book for a maximum out of 3 days time. And so basically if you book, like, if your only availability is in a week, we're not going to let you do that. You have to book within 3 days. Then in those 3 days, we just maximize the availability possible. And that's with half an hour slots. So instead of giving people the frame of, oh my God, I need to set aside an hour for this consult. No, you need to set aside 30 minutes at a maximum, probably 15 minutes. And that's maybe a gym tour and a bit of a consult going through pretty much these questions again. The advert insight all the way down to investment readiness, but also framing it in a way that's, okay, you've just told me the problem. That's brilliant because we can absolutely help you solve that. Um, that is pretty much it. There's a few things, like, for example, the how do we make sure these people actually show up, right? Because we've done, look, the creative speed to lead call. This is pretty much the protocol that's repeated here, and then if they don't answer, we will keep trying. When we get to that discovery call, it is this script, right? If we ascertain whether they're qualified, brilliant, we make the appointment, and then there's a show up and reminder process, right? And so it's here. I am actually going to save that for next time, as well as the rest of this SOP, standard operating procedure. Hopefully, this has been valuable. I would say that the biggest takeaway you should have is the STL call, the speed to lead call, and also that line of questioning, especially the investment questions. Ascertain whether they have the finances available. Don't get to the end of the consult, when they've come in person, only for right at the end of that consult say, okay, let's talk money. Oh, they're unqualified. If they are unqualified, get them out of the way as soon as possible and continue with efficiency like a business owner should. The next video will be all about the actual booking, so how to take the consult, the gym tour, the line of questioning you should take on that tour, and how to frame your offer around it. But so far, it's been the advert, and then how to book these people in and how to nurture them with maximum efficiency. Whew. All right, I'll see you on the next one.